All right, let's get into this. Today, we're going to break down one of the most ambitious, complex, and honestly just unbelievable business pitches I think you'll ever hear. It's got everything. A revolutionary AI, a mysterious Japanese tycoon, and a promise of so much money that it comes with a life or death warning.
And we're going to start right here with this absolutely wild quote from the presenter, Wen Heiha. This is how seriously he talks about the secrecy around the guy behind his entire operation. So what in the world is he selling that needs a warning like that? Let's find out.
So here's our game plan for today. We'll kick things off with the product itself, this new AI companion. Then we'll dig into that massive 240 million VND promise. We're going to try and figure out who this mysterious master is, and how this other AI supposedly just prints money to fund it all. Then we'll look at the huge vision, something called Project X, and wrap it all up with the controversial past that the presenter actually brings up himself.
Okay, first things first. Before we get into any of the crazy financial stuff, what exactly is the product they're trying to sell here?
The product is an AI software, and it's called AI to Care for Your Loved One. The presenter says it's kind of like ChatGPT, and it's meant to give you personalized advice. You know what's really interesting is the name itself. He said it was originally called AI to Care for Your Family, but his secret boss told him to change it to Loved One, because that could be anyone, your kid, your parent, even the person who sells you noodles down the street.
So the software is supposed to come in 3 main flavors. You've got one for your kids, which is all about education. Then there's one for your family, which is weirdly specific. It focuses on eating, sleeping, and digestion. And finally, there's an AI for your business, which promises to boost your revenue and cut your costs. Each one is supposedly tailored for a different part of your life.
All right, let's get to the part of the pitch that really makes everyone's ears perk up. The money. Because this isn't just about buying a product. It comes with a financial promise that sounds almost too good to be true.
240 million Vietnamese dong. That number is huge. And it's not just the price for one license of the AI for your children's software. It's also the core of their incredible money-back guarantee. And here's the key. They claim your child will earn that exact amount back.
So you're probably asking, how on earth is a child supposed to make that kind of money? Well, the presenter lays out this 3-step plan. First, the kid goes to work as a server to learn about customer service. Second, while they're doing that, they also sell affiliate products on the side, like a detox supplement he mentions. And third, with the AI guiding them, this combination of a regular job and a side hustle is supposed to generate that 240 million VND in about 9 months. Now let's look at the fine print on this guarantee, because this is where it gets really clever. If your kid uses the software and doesn't make that 240 million VND in 9 months and 10 days, you get your money back. But here's the kicker. The refund doesn't come from the company, it's backed by a bank guarantee. The presenter even says you can pick your own bank, and he mentions that banks like BIDV and ACB have done this for him before.
This all just leads to one giant question, right? Who has the kind of power and money to back up these kinds of guarantees? Well, the presenter keeps mentioning this authority figure he calls his master. So let's see who this person is supposed to be. He calls this person Sufu, which translates to master. And apparently, this is his Japanese boss, a guy he describes as a major financial tycoon of Japan. But the master's real identity is a total secret. The story goes that it's to protect him from the dangers of the finance world so he can just live like a normal old guy. And that brings us right back to this chilling quote. The presenter says that if you ever get to find out who the master is, you have to sign this top secret agreement. And the penalty for breaking that promise isn't getting sued, it's a threat that you'll be meeting your ancestors early. It's just extreme, and it's all built around the guy who's supposedly funding this whole thing. So you've got a secret Japanese billionaire and a bank-backed guarantee. But how is any of this actually sustainable? Well, that brings us to what's supposed to be the financial engine powering this entire operation.
The presenter explains this financial puzzle. He says he's going to launch a credit fund called Aki. Now, this fund will take people's deposits and pay them a really high interest rate. But then it's going to lend that money out to businesses at a super low rate. So the big question is, how do you make money when you're paying out more than you're taking in? Where does the profit come from?
The answer, he says, is, you guessed it, another AI. This one is called TrAI, and its whole job is to basically be a digital money printing machine. So, according to the pitch, TrAI is a trading bot that plays the foreign exchange market, or Forex, and the numbers they show for its simulated performance are just astronomical. The claim is that if you had put in just $10,000 back in 2009, this AI would have turned it into an unbelievable $43 billion by late 2024. That's the proof they offer for its power.
So here's how it's all supposed to connect. The TrAI makes billions from trading Forex. Those profits then get funneled into that credit fund, aka Aussie. Aussie then uses that cash to provide cheap funding for all the company's other projects, including the one that's guaranteeing your kid will make 240 million VND. It's pitched as this perfect, self-sustaining financial loop.
But wait, it gets bigger. This whole thing isn't really about selling software. That's just a small piece. The real end game is something called Project X, which is this grand vision to completely reshape the entire Vietnamese economy.
Project X is framed as fulfilling a direct order from Japan. The idea is that Japanese companies are moving out of China, and they need a new, well-trained workforce, so Project X aims to create it. We're talking about training 200,000 entrepreneurs and 1 million high-quality workers, all trained to Japanese standards. And the goal is to attract over $130 billion in Japanese investment into Vietnam.
And the timeline for this is just ridiculously fast. The plan was to scale from training just 100 leaders in 2021 to 7,000 the next year, and then hit 200,000 entrepreneurs by 2024. This kind of exponential growth is at the very heart of the entire vision.
Okay, so now for the last piece of the puzzle. And this is where some really important context comes in, because throughout the entire presentation, the speaker is surprisingly open about having a past that's, well, let's just say it's filled with controversy.
And he brings all this up himself. He talks about how his last company, Rich and Happy, ended with angry investors. He fully acknowledges that a police newspaper ran an article titled, "Searching for the Director of a Scam Company," about him. He claims his companies are currently being watched by 2 different government ministries. And he even tells a story about how the police recently showed up at one of his seminars because someone reported it as a pyramid scheme.
This all leads to this really fascinating contrast. On the one hand, you have this massive futuristic claim, an AI that teaches kids how to make huge amounts of money. But then you look at the actual pilot project he shows off. It's 2 young students who started a company called FBA, or Future Billionaire Academy. And what do? They teach other students how to take better notes using mind maps. It's a very different scale.
So, what do you make of all this? Is it a blueprint for a prosperous, high-tech future, all backed by some secret financial genius? Or is it just a massive vision that's built on a foundation of truly unbelievable claims? We've laid out all the pieces for you. The rest is for you to decide.